Hello again, everybody, and welcome to CaneSport right now as we discuss the Miami Hurricanes' pursuit of Mario Cristobal as football coach, Dan Radakovich as athletic director. It's been quite a wild day at the U and certainly on the internet and on Twitter and everywhere else. So I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, and we figured that we would come on here tonight and have a little conversation with everybody and answer questions and bring everybody up to speed on our reporting today, what we've been hearing, the way we think things stand. And Matt, let's just start off. I mean, this is insanity, quite frankly. When you look at the way this is playing out, and, I've been very complimentary personally of the Miami administration and a lot of the things that they've been doing since the president's office took this over. But there's been some blips here in the last week. And, I see Rudy Fernandez on Twitter liking things. I see leaks, a lot of leaks taking place that really shouldn't be taking place. I mean, we love leaks and we love to break stories and give information, but it's gotten a little out of control here. And there have been a lot of erroneous leaks. Twitter has been unbelievably abused in this situation with erroneous reports and different things. And what it's done, Matt, is it's kind of created a little bit of a circus atmosphere that doesn't really reflect so great on Miami. And that's a shame, because if the end game is that Dan Radakovich, one of the best athletic directors in the country, ends up being athletic director, and Mario Cristobal ends up being the football coach, that's a good day for the Miami Hurricanes. And not looking to disrespect Manny Diaz, but Manny Diaz is also being disrespected in all of this, because he's been left sitting there hanging for weeks, not knowing his fate. He's been out trying to recruit, and nobody in the administration is saying a word to him or having any contact with him whatsoever on what the future is going to hold. And so, Matt, let's start off with that, the big picture, just the whole circus atmosphere of this entire situation at the U. Your thoughts?
Big picture, for those of you that have never seen this or seen us before, I had no gray hair until this morning. Woke up at 5 a.m. to go stone crabbing.
You dyed that in. I've never seen gray hair on you.
Woke up at 5 a.m. to go stone crabbing, so I could be home by 8 a.m. in case Mario woke up early to sign his papers. I've been on apparently some sort of prison release program where I can't leave my house, waiting for the news to break so I could start calling recruits and having amazing feedback from all of them on how great it is that Mario Cristobal is coming to Miami. My wife went to the Giants game with her father. I wasn't invited because she knew I had to work all day. I mean, Mario Cristobal has cost me a lot if he doesn't come to Miami. I'm going to be very upset with Mario Cristobal when's he supposed to? He should announce, I think, in the next 3 weeks, the last I heard. So I'm thinking sometime in the next 3 weeks we're going to hear from Mario. But I mean, no, but in all seriousness, I hate to call it amateur hour, Gary. Listen, you have said that behind the scenes the administration is doing everything right. I said I disagreed, and now you're finally coming around to see it's like amateur hour with these guys. Like, when you look at the noise coming out of Miami, not just from fans, but from John Ruiz tweeting about how he's going to have a stadium, and like Rudy Fernandez.
A stadium on the corner of Bird Road in the June in the middle of Coral Gables.
Yeah, but he's tweeting out he's starting a committee. Stay tuned. In a couple of hours, we'll announce the committee for the new Orange Bowl. Rudy Fernandez, who's liking comments from people who don't even cover the team anymore, talking about stuff, saying how smart Rudy is. This is not how you want to present a major powerhouse college football program. And the problem is, these are not administrators at Miami. These are fans. These are boosters. These are people who are, I'd say, freewheeling it, sort of going outside of the usual sphere of influence, that don't sort of understand the optics of these things. And I don't think they've done Miami any favors. I don't think, because in my opinion, Miami needs Mario Cristobal. They have to have Mario Cristobal. And if you keep this on the down low, it makes Mario's decision a lot easier. He can do it how he wants to do it, not feel all this pressure and this incredible, intense timeline where, oh my God, like he's getting hit by all sides, and Miami's doing all this stuff for him. How can he say no? But at the same time, Oregon's done all this stuff for him, and and now Oregon, obviously, if it was sort of on the down low, he could probably have sort of slid out of there a little bit easier. But Oregon obviously got wind of it. They're putting tremendous pressure on him now. He's got a family who lives there. He's got kids. I have kids. Like if I told my kids when they were in high school or in middle school or whatever, like, hey, we're moving to a different state.
We're moving to the other side of the country, right?
Yeah, they would have had a fit.
Right.
So I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes with Mario. It's not just, hey, I want to coach at Miami where I, grew up and played high school ball. My mom's there and she's not feeling well. No, this is also a style of living. And if the style of living is people who are promoting themselves on Twitter, I don't even understand why. I guess
people have never covered the program before,
right?
All of a sudden, but these people themselves on Twitter as experts on this thing.
Yeah, but listen, people get caught up in the Twitterverse where it's, oh my God, I just got 1,000 likes for tweeting one thing. Oh my God, I got 2,000 new followers. Like people get caught up in this. Go to don't go to my Twitter. I'm not going to tell you my Twitter. No. I have never sent one tweet in my entire life. I don't know why I have a few followers, but.
Yeah, our Twitter's
I tweet under at CaneSport. Like I don't need followers. Like I just try to do my job. But these people, for whatever reason, they're promoting whatever they want to do instead of doing it behind the scenes, which is the right way to do it. Like those anonymous donors out there who give millions to charitable causes, and they don't want the recognition. This is the opposite. This is not what you want if you're Mario Cristobal. You don't want a million outside influences trying to pull you and be your buddy and have your ear. Mario Cristobal wants to coach a team. That's all he wants to do. He already has all his buddies in Miami. He doesn't need more buddies, okay? He barely has enough time to see his wife and kids as a coach. So I'm sure he's torn. If he wasn't torn, he already would have signed with Miami. The contract, from what I understand, has been agreed to. Like, he's okay with the contract. It's just, do I want to leave? And obviously, he doesn't know if he wants to leave. And that's scary if you're a Miami fan, because, like, where does Miami go if Mario Cristobal doesn't come? Like, what's next? Like, I still am very hopeful Mario comes, but just the fact, just even if it's a 1% chance, and it's higher than 1% he doesn't come, but even if it was a 1% chance he doesn't come, that scares the SH out of me, and these, the Twitterverse has done him no favors at all, in my opinion.
All right, let's review some stuff here. All right, it's 7:18 on Sunday night. Okay. Number one, Manny Diaz has not been fired. Okay, let's make that clear. He has not yet been fired. He has not had any contact with the Miami administration in a long time. How many days, I don't know, but I know it's been a while. He has no clue what's going on here. Okay, so that's number one. That he has not been fired. So conventional wisdom would be that you're not going to, you can't really hire a coach while you have the other coach. Like they really need to fire Manny before they hire Mario. Okay, the Mario contract has been in the works for a while now, and through back channels, whatever you want to call it, Miami made it clear. Let me change that. The individuals that had been working this for Miami made it clear many weeks ago that Miami was interested in pursuing a relationship with Mario Cristobal. The Hurricanes started out 2-4 this year. It was very obvious that this was not going to be a great season. And they were trying to get out ahead of the game. Now, did they go the USC, LSU route and fire Manny in the middle of the season and put the players through all that and have an interim coach and like a lot of fans wanted? No, they did not. And that's what's made this a little unconventional, because Manny has been left sitting there twisting in the wind. He won 5 of his last 6 games while all this is going on, behind the scenes. And so they're at the point where the deal is pretty much agreed upon, about $8 million. We believe it's 5 years, an incredible investment in football, money for staffing, coaching salaries, private plane travel, all the things that all the big time programs around the country have are part of the equation of this deal that's been agreed to with Mario Cristobal. So the only thing that's holding it up right now, as we sit here at now 7:20 p.m. on Sunday night, is a signature and an agreement that, I, Mario Cristobal, agree to this, and I am going to come be the head coach at Miami. Now, What has held that up? A couple things. Friday night, they played in the Pac-12 title game against Utah. And a few hours before that game, somebody out in Oregon leaked to the main sports columnist out there in Oregon that Oregon was putting together a new package for Mario in an attempt to try to ward off interest by Miami and keep him in Oregon. Okay. Somebody leaks this 3 or 4 hours before kickoff. Okay. Then, and this is what's really bizarre, the same columnist leaks, not that we didn't already know this, because here at CaneSport and the people that subscribe to our website and everything else, like, they knew this already, but it wasn't really like public consumption for the whole universe out there. But this columnist in Oregon puts out a tweet that Miami is closing in on a deal with Dan Radakovich, the athletic director at Clemson. Now, there is no chance that a columnist in Oregon is breaking that story, okay, unless somebody's planting it with him. My theory, Matt, is that this was all an attempt to just blow things up. This was part of Oregon's plans to blow things up. And I'm not going to say it came from the athletic director because I don't know that, but it came from somebody in their athletic department, more than likely, who got wind of the Dan Radakovich thing from agents, because agents talk about all that stuff amongst each other, or possibly maybe Dan Radakovich made a call out to Oregon to just talk about what working with Mario is like and things like that. You know, that it would make sense that would be part of the due diligence that he's doing. But somehow Oregon gets wind that Miami's pursuing Dan Radakovich, and it gets leaked to this writer. Okay, so now you have these leaks that are going viral in the Oregon community 3 or 4 hours before kickoff of the Pac-12 championship game. Okay, word of this filters, obviously, to the players. People start calling players, talking to players, texting players. Hey, do you know anything about Mario leaving? Blah, 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 blah. So here's the team getting ready to play for the Pac-12 championship. And I'm not making excuses for them, of course, because there's no reason for me to do that. And I'm not saying they would have beat Utah, because Utah beat them twice. And Utah, at least to me, looked like a significantly better team than Oregon in those two games. But you have a team that was totally distracted and totally rattled going into this football game Friday night. Okay, and then the game starts. They're getting their butts absolutely destroyed, Matt. It was ugly. Okay, their quarterback was playing horribly. Their offensive coordinator, who, by the way, did have one foot out the door already, he was getting ready to be named the head coach at Akron. He was horrendous. Called a terrible game. Their defensive coordinator, who I personally, he's a new defensive coordinator there. And in the games I've watched, I've thought he was terrible the whole season, quite frankly. He had a rough night. Everything falls apart for Oregon and in that game, and they get beat very badly. On top of that, you got all the players at Oregon who now are really, really mad. And they're mad even before they get their butts kicked on national TV in the Pac-12 title game. So now you just got a horrible, horrible, horrible atmosphere in the program. You got Mario sitting there with no answers. Like, are you leaving, coach? Are you not leaving? He's getting ready to go out recruiting the next morning. And all of this contributed, in my opinion, to an absolute mess for Miami. Because Miami's now that his season is over, theoretically, except for a bowl game that he's probably not going to coach in anyway. Miami now is looking to close the deal. They are looking to get to the finish line. They're looking to hire Mario, get him on the road recruiting, and move forward with this deal. That experience Friday night, it was a game changer from a potential game changer, I'll say, for Mario. He's been on the road recruiting for Oregon Saturday and Sunday. Okay, that's not an indication that he's getting ready to come to Miami and start recruiting for Miami. However, I will say, Matt, that I still feel good that this deal can get done. I think that they've moved in a good direction. It's just all it's waiting on is a signature from him, and it could definitely still take place. I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but when people start throwing out on Twitter on Sunday morning while he's in the middle of recruiting out there in California that this is a done deal and that he has agreed to be the football coach at Miami, that was just another freaking nuclear bomb that was thrown into the equation. And those were erroneous reports. There was no 100% deal Sunday morning. And as we sit here Sunday night, we're still waiting to see if there's going to be any confirmation at all this evening that Mario is going to come to Miami or whether he's going to stay at Oregon. I do know another thing that I'm going to say, and I want to turn this over to you for a minute so I can get a drink of water. But
a drink of water.
Yeah, this is like
little things in life.
This is like turning into a little bit of a speech here, but there's a lot to cover.
Not vodka, not rum. You're gonna have water. I mean, what kind of night are you having over there?
I could use some vodka or rum right now, but I just want to bring everybody up to speed on what's been going on. I've been working on this the entire day, so and really last night as well. So anyway, so these leaks on Twitter on Sunday morning throw another complete monkey wrench into the thing, and people ask on our message boards, Matt, how does erroneous Twitter reports affect things like this? And I think let's talk about that for a minute. I think that the way that it affects things like this is when you're just putting out reports like that are erroneous, the first thing that happens is the people at Oregon get all stirred up. And now they are flipping out. I'm sure they're pounding Mario's phone. I'm sure you get people like Phil Knight all stirred up, and it just creates a whole nother layer of stress on what's already a stressful situation, and it's not helpful. It just really isn't. And the thing that I've really noticed is that Twitter, for a long time, has been a game changer in our business, but it takes away any journalistic responsibility. Like, people can just say anything on Twitter with no regard for whether it's true or not, because all they're looking for is attention. I mean, there have been people this week saying an AD is going out. This started last Sunday. AD is going to be announced Monday. They tweet that out. AD is going to be announced Tuesday. They tweet that out. AD is going to be announced Wednesday. They tweet that out. No regard for whether it's really true or not. It's just throwing fire out to the fan base. Everybody's getting all stirred up, which I assume is the intent of these things. And Matt, it creates a total crap show. All right, your thoughts.
Go get your vodka. So here are my thoughts. What I would encourage fans to do, like a lot of fans and even myself, take Twitter posts at face value, and they don't think to themselves, why is this reporter reporting that? Like, who gave this reporter that information, especially when it winds up being faulty information? So,
and let me just qualify, it's often not reporters. It's more often than not, it's not reporters.
Okay, well,
it's not reporters from the Herald usually and things like that.
This morning, the Herald also was on the train of it's a pretty much a done deal. A lot of people were saying it's pretty much a done deal. He's coming. Da 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 da. That was the indication from all.
And that might be the end result. Let's qualify that.
Except for us.
That might be the end result, right? Like, we'll qualify that for everybody.
Of course.
Yeah.
But what I would encourage people to do is think about why these people. Okay, I know a lot of these people who are putting the tweets out there. Like, I personally know them. I work with some of them. And I can tell you right now, like Gary calls them erroneous reports, I call them planted reports, because they're actually getting that information. They don't think it's a bad report. They're not making it up. Someone who is a source is telling them this information. So you as a fan, when you go on Twitter, you have to not take it with a grain of salt, but think, why is this information being reported and where is it actually coming from when they say it's a source? Is it an Oregon source? Is it a Miami source? In the case of all these tweets this morning from various sources saying, it's a done deal, he's coming, the terms have been agreed to, he's getting $8 million a year, it's unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. That's not Oregon sending that out. That's Miami sources, not from the University of Miami, but that's these big money guys who have been working with Mario, trying to basically pressure him into taking the deal. Like, it's a done deal, making Oregon people freak out, and then Mario will bolt, because when those Oregon people start yelling at Mario, what, you're leaving, you didn't tell us you're leaving. You know how that goes. That's how these people think it will go at Oregon. They don't understand. Yeah. People in Oregon are nice, laid back, mellow people, not like the people in Miami, Like,
and it's having the opposite effect.
Like my kids, exactly. It's backfired, because now Mario is waiting longer than he should have to make a decision. But like when my kids went away for college, and I'm not that old. They're still in college, okay? So don't start saying how old I am. But they're like, Dad, the people here are so nice. Like I said, listen, they're not so nice. They're just normal people. You're from Miami. The people in Miami maybe aren't so nice. I'm from New York, and I got to tell you, some of the people I met in Miami, they would be considered mean people in New York, okay? So, like, it's that Midwestern vibe, even though it's out in the West in Oregon. Like, these people don't get rattled out there, you know? The truth is, the people who know Mario out there like Mario, and they want the best for him. You know, all they're trying to do for Mario is say, listen, we want you here. We love you here. What can we do to make you stay here? And all the people in Miami are like, blah, 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 blah. You got to come. You already signed. What? It's like what Mario sees in Miami is probably not what the University of Miami wants to portray, which should be a warm, welcoming home environment. Come back home, not the crazy chaos that has been created because of these outside forces that the president of the university has no control over, and he doesn't understand what he created. It's a monster. He should have worked with these people a lot more closely and had people overseeing them. I know these guys have billions of dollars, but they need someone to oversee them because I see what's happening, and it's like amateur hour. It's just like people have a lot of money that are just like have gone crazy. Like, I don't watch Girls Gone Wild, but this is Rich Guys Gone Wild, okay? And you know, I know it's a bad analogy, okay? And I know it probably dates me, but it's ridiculous. That's one point, okay? The other thing I want to say is the president of the University of Miami has just totally screwed this. He doesn't understand sports. He's a fine president, a super smart guy, great in the field of health. The problem is what should have happened, and I still can't wrap my head around why. They should have hired an athletic director and then gotten a coach. Like, that's normal. Not get a coach and then get your athletic director. To me, that's backwards. And I understand the people that are advising the president from the outside and his two people who he's having are saying, okay, it's got to be Mario. It's got to be Mario. Let Mario pick the AD or whatever. But like, at some point, like, who's running the program? Because it's okay with me if Mario's running the program. But if Mario thinks he's running the program and the AD who comes in thinks he's running the program, that could be a problem, right? So, like, you need to have that level of, you know, president, AD, coach. That's how it's always been. And that's when ESPN talks about alignment. That's the alignment. It's not president, coach, and then the athletic director. That's not the way it is at any other program in the country. But that's how it seems like the Miami president's office has decided it's going to be run at Miami. Now, will that make Miami the greatest program in the country? They've decided to put the coach ahead of the athletic director. It's more important to get the football coach and then worry about the athletic director and just tell him, here's your coach. Listen, it's doing the AD a favor, because if the AD was the one who hired Mario and then Mario failed, both of them are on their asses. But I don't think Mario would fail here, okay? And anyway, that's my piece. I've said my piece. I'm done. I'm done. You had your water, I hope, and let's move on.
All right, so number one, I think the goal has been to announce both simultaneously. I've been hearing of a Monday or Tuesday press conference by Miami to announce both Dan Radakovich and Mario Cristobal. Will that come to fruition? Obviously, we're going to find out in the next 24 hours. You know, if we can find out before, obviously we will report it. You're not going to see us report this as a done deal that Mario's coming here until we know it for a fact. And right now, we don't know it for a fact. We do know for a fact that Manny Diaz has not been fired to this point. And there have been no announcements at Oregon that Mario's leaving. In fact, Derek Bell very astutely points out, Matt, he lives in Eugene. And there was a word that there was going to be a player meeting right now. But our sources have told us that meeting has been canceled, that there's not a player meeting right now in Oregon. We don't know if there will be one tonight or not, if they're trying to throw off assembled media and things like that are trying to get the scoop out there.
Derek, I'm texting you Mario's home address right now. Derek, if you can go over there, just ring the doorbell, and I'm going to text you a few questions to ask when he answers, okay? So hold on, Derek. Go ahead, Gary.
So right now we don't really know if there's going to be a team meeting at Oregon tonight. We do have boots on the ground up there in Eugene helping us with this story. And if we do hear of a meeting, we will report on it as the evening goes forward. But, you know, right now we don't know. I know Mario did have plans, regardless of whether he was coming to Miami, to fly to South Florida, I believe tomorrow, for recruiting. I mean, they are recruiting some players in South Florida to Oregon. And I believe that the Florida swing of his recruiting efforts was always scheduled before all this. Will that be the start of a permanent residence in South Florida? We're going to find out in the coming hours. But man, I don't think there's a done deal right now as we sit here at 7:35. I mean, I know that there have been a lot of people posting on Twitter and things like that there is a done deal, but there has not been peep out of Oregon that Mario has said a word to anybody that he's going to Miami. He's been on the road recruiting in San Diego all day. He participated about an hour and a half or two ago in the Alamo Bowl ceremony where Oregon got the invite to the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio, where they're going to play Oklahoma. Mario participated in that. If you would like to watch the video of that, you can get it on our website right now, CaneSport.com, and you can see that he talks about the bowl game like it's business as usual. There are zero signs that this is a guy that's getting ready to be introduced tomorrow as the head coach of Miami. So we're not jumping to any conclusions. I can personally say, Matt, that I've been doing this a hell of a long time, and I've been burned in these situations before where it looked like these things were going to get done and they didn't get done. There's a lot of things.
Listen, just the fact that Mario, it's just common sense, right? The deal is there. Everyone knows the deal is there for Mario and that it's a deal that he could take if he wanted to. The fact that he has not taken it, and even the media that earlier reported it was done and da-da-da, even they've backtracked now, and obviously he has not done it. And once he signs, they could put out a release. Once you sign, you put out the release. That's it, And he hasn't signed. He hasn't done it. And the fact that it's taken this long, well, I'm not saying Miami fans should be worried about it. It just is an indication that he's still thinking about it. Because
he's still thinking about it.
Even if it's a 1%, he wants to be 100%. So, let the guy take his time. Everyone's freaking out on Twitter. Leave the guy alone. Let him make his decision. Let's pretend like we're in Oregon and we're mellow, laid back, people who enjoy, eating vegan food, or I don't know what they do out in Oregon, but I had vegan food last night. It was pretty darn good. And let's let him make his decision in peace, and if he doesn't come to Miami, nice people would wish him well. I don't think Miami fans will wish him well at this point if he doesn't come to Miami, which is sad. I'm laughing, but it's gotten to this crazy. I've never seen anything like this. You've been covering the team longer than I have, but I've been covering
this is unique. I've never seen anything like this.
I've done it over 20 years. I've never seen anything, even in college football, like this. This is crazy, man. This is just so typical of Miami for what we've seen. They say only in Miami. This is only in Miami, right?
Well, we've seen Black Monday where 4 members of Larry Coker's staff got thrown out of the building.
Oh, yeah. We were there, and the media was there, by the way, while the coaches were moving their stuff out. That was crazy, too.
Yeah, that was a crazy day. But, this is...
you know what? I want to tell one other crazy story, because this is crazy, and Barry Jackson's not going to like this story, but Randy Shannon got... I don't know if I want to say waylaid, but Barry's a great reporter. He does a good job, and he showed up at an event he wasn't supposed to be at for boosters, and sort of
in Miami
ran up to Randy Shannon outside of Randy's car one day after the booster event and started peppering him with questions. And Randy got so pissed that Randy banned Barry Jackson, who's a Herald reporter, from practice.
Yeah, I remember.
And that. Barry being Barry showed up the next day at practice.
No, but wait, you left something out.
What?
Randy was trying to drive away, and Barry was blocking the car. So wouldn't let him leave.
So listen, this is still crazier than that, but this is what happened the next day when Barry showed up for practice. Okay, Miami had, I want to say, a 70-year-old security guard who, he could walk, but he certainly wasn't very agile. And the way we did it back then is you're outside and you have this group of reporters around the player. And I'll never forget, it was Ja'Cory Harris in the middle. And there's probably back in those days, there was a lot more media interest. There was probably about 15 of us gathered around Ja'Cory Harris. And all of a sudden, Mark Prey, who was the athletic director at the time, puts his hands up and says, Ja'Cory, stop talking. He says, nobody can ask Ja'Cory another question until Barry Jackson leaves the premises. He is banned from the University of Miami. And Susan Miller-Degnan, who was a Herald reporter, she says, really, Mark? Come on. How about if Barry just doesn't ask any questions? And Mark says, no, he has to leave. And then he says to this, Mark Prey, who's the sports information director, says to the 70-year-old security guard, he says, Jerry, get him out of here. And so we're in this circle, and Jerry starts chasing Barry around the circle, and Barry, it's like Benny Hill. It's like, do. So Barry's running, and Jerry's running around the circle of reporters with Ja'Cory Harris just watching the whole thing like the tennis match, just like this. So that was crazy. This is crazier. Okay, that's how off the deep end this is.
Yeah, this is crazier, no doubt. And I could tell you that what Matt just said is true, that Mario today was still thinking it over. And I've got impeccable sources on this. There's zero doubt in my mind about anything that we've reported on this. And he was definitely still thinking about this and what he wanted to do. And I also know from sources out there that he's been getting an absolute full court press from the people at Oregon. All right, well, bye-bye Bosworth here, Matt. Says that he's convinced that Manny Diaz is sticking around for another year. Well, it's funny. Like I said, he hasn't been fired yet while all this insanity is going on. And sure, he's not real happy about any of it. But, bye-bye Bosworth has a sixth sense. I got a feeling he meant to say sixth sense. But he's got a sixth or a sixth sense that Manny's going to end up sticking. And, Matt, let's talk about Manny for a minute. Listen, he struggled. He got the job, was thrown into one of the hardest jobs in college football. We've been talking about it for years. I thought it was obviously a huge mistake by Blake James, not because having anything to do with Manny, but, Manny didn't have the seasoning to walk into this job. I mean, this is one of the toughest jobs in college football. When you think about the fan base and the expectations and the recruiting wars and how every top team in college football comes and raids South Florida, and all the contingencies in the air, in the community and everything. This is a very difficult job to navigate. Okay. And Manny just didn't have the resume for this job at that point of his career. He had never recruited anybody of any real significance. He had never won anything of any significance. So I thought it was blind ambition on his part. And I thought Blake James did him and Miami and the fan base a major injustice putting him in that job. Thus, here we are today, 3 years later. Blake James is out of work, and Manny is in the situation Manny's in. Okay, all that said.
And by the way, the Oregonian, one of the reporters at Oregonian is saying that Mario's not going to take recruiting visits tomorrow, which makes sense. I mean, the guy's got to make the biggest decision of his life to this point, probably. So he may not be coming to Miami for that. I don't know, if he'll be coming to Miami for something else, but we'll see. I mean, and who knows, again, with these reports, that reporter, again, like I told you guys earlier, like he's getting that information probably not from the recruits or from Mario because he's not saying who he heard it from. Like we wrote a story today that Manny canceled his California trip, and we didn't say it was a source. Like we told you who it was. It was the recruit he was supposed to visit. And so this guy from the Oregonian is saying, that he's hearing that Mario's not going to be making any recruiting visits tomorrow. So, we'll
interesting. All right, but let's talk about Manny for 1 sec. This has been criminal, Matt. What they're doing to Manny Diaz. Okay. Who does this? Like,
well, now do you agree with me? They should have fired him way back when, or even 2 weeks ago. Like, leaving the guy dangling like this is wrong. Leaving the recruits dangling like this is wrong.
It's wrong, and I understand what they think they're doing. Well, what they're essentially saying is that if we can't hire Mario and upgrade, and I don't think anybody can argue that Mario would be a clear upgrade over Manny. With all respect to the 2 losses to Utah here at the end of the season. I mean, he's one of the best recruiters in the country. He's a 9-year head coaching veteran. No, more than 9, 10. A 10-year head coaching veteran. He's won 2 Pac-12 titles. He's won the Rose Bowl. You can go on and on. Whatever. He's got a better resume than Manny. He's further along in his career than Manny. And it would be a clear upgrade for Miami to be able to hire Mario Cristobal. No argument there. However, I think what they've been planning is that if they can't get to a finished deal with Mario, they're going to let Manny come back, because what they don't want to do is start paying millions of dollars in buyouts to get another average football coach. And
but Gary, listen, if they, I don't care what you say. If they had fired Manny when they should have, they could have done a real search. Mario could have been the guy. And you know what? Mario would have probably been pressured to make a decision earlier than now, where he could just wait and wait and wait when you still have a Lane Kiffin and you maybe have other guys in the mix. Like now Miami's a little bit screwed because it's like Mario or Manny. It wouldn't have been this way if they had started this way back when, which is what I told you they should have done. And you said, no, it's fine. If they had done it with the way they were supposed to do it, they would have known already if Mario wanted this kind of even under the table agreement. Like we're good.
Well, what about the kids, Matt? What about the kids? Does anybody ever think of the kids? How about the kids? Like you watch the way that team, Matt. You watch the way. Let me finish for a minute. You watch the way that team played in the last 6 weeks of the season. I mean, I think anybody out there, I don't care how much you hate Manny, whatever. It's undeniable how hard those kids played. They won 5 of the last 6 games and lost the 6th by the hair of their chinny chin chin. and we're playing probably the best football in the ACC the second half of the season. Miami finished the year, in my opinion, Matt, as the best team in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They're better than Pitt. They freaking won the title last night. They're better than Wake Forest at the end of the season, the way they were playing with Tyler Van Dyke and the receivers and everything else, and Jalen Knight and all that. So, yeah, like I get it. Like if the agenda is just, hey, let's get rid of Manny and not leave open the possibility of him doing well enough to where we're in this situation, I get it.
What program keeps a coach who's failing? You know, you have to go. You get rid of him.
He won 5 of the last 6.
You don't say another year with a failed
kids, Matt.
They should have fired him when he was 2-4, or fired him when they fired Blake at the same time. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't care what
about the kids.
We've talked about it a million times.
What about the kids and the way they believe in their coach? And that's undeniable.
You don't think those kids would have kept playing hard with those kids were going to keep playing hard with or without Manny? We've talked about it. That culture came from the players, not from Manny Diaz. Those players were going to play that hard, whether it was P-Rob as a temporary head coach or Rhett Lashley as a temporary head coach. They're going to play their asses off. That's what those young kids have done for this program. Kudos to them.
That's not always been the case. This is a team that's quit every year for the last several years. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that I see both sides of the equation. And I think what they're trying to accomplish here is not just going out on a coaching search and ending up with a gamble. Ending up with a with a gamble.
You got to take that, Gary? You got to get that.
I do, but I'll text them. I do need to take that. But yeah, so just end up with a situation where you've got another experiment, another unproven commodity that you now have to hire as head coach because you fired Manny and put yourself in that position. I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Go out, see if they can land Mario. And if they can't land Mario, go hire a new AD. Let the AD evaluate Manny for a year. Let Manny stay. That's clearly been the plan. But it's blown up on them, Matt, which is going to now support what you're saying. It has absolutely blown up. He is being treated so disrespectfully. Let me go on a little rant here for another 10 seconds, and then I'm going to send my text, and you're going to talk. But, he's been treated so irrespectfully and unprofessionally, and it has become kind of shameful. Go ahead.
All right. So while you text, here's to me, it's always, I try to get to the common sense part of everything, right? And to me, the common sense part is what everyone can relate to. And maybe not all of you can relate to this. I certainly can't, but let's say you're really bad at your job, okay? You go to work every day, you're playing Tetris, you're hanging out, you're on the phone, you're texting your buddies, whatever. I had a friend who had a mattress company, and he would put GPSs in all the trucks. And he'd keep track of if they were moving, if they were stopped, and some of them would be stopped at a hotel for 2 hours, obviously I don't know what you do in a hotel for 2 hours. We can guess. But so he knows who to fire. They're bad at their jobs. Manny Diaz was bad at his job. If you were bad at your job, and if you're head of your company or whatever, they fired your supervisor and they kept you on, but you knew from everyone else telling you constantly, hey, they're looking for a replacement for you. They can't wait to find a great person to replace you. Everyone's so excited to see who's going to replace you. It's amazing. How would you feel? And on top of that, they just keep stringing you along and not telling you your final day, whatever. I mean, you would quit. But Manny Diaz couldn't quit because if he quit, he would forfeit his buyout. This is the position that this idiotic administration has put Manny Diaz in, and what these idiotic administrators have now set up to basically make Mario Cristobal question what should be an easy decision, because he sees the nonsense that's going on here. If you're the person who is going to look to get that job, okay, you're the idiot employee who just sleeps in the hotel for 2 hours, maybe with a friend of yours, maybe not, and you're just waiting to get replaced, whatever. You're a bad employee. They have a great employee coming. Everyone's so excited. And then all of a sudden, they say, oh, we couldn't get the good employee. You're going to stay for another year. Are you all of a sudden going to be a great employee and you're going to be amazing at your job? No, we know what Manny Diaz is. It's common sense. So to just string him along like this isn't good for anybody. And for Mario Cristobal to look at the Miami situation, the administration, the ridiculous stuff on Twitter and on the internet, and see the situation at UM, he could probably deal with the team perhaps not having as good a roster depth. It's not bad roster depth, but it's perhaps not as good as at Oregon, where, Oregon's a little easier, to me, easier conference, even with USC maybe getting better chance to make the playoffs at Oregon. But Miami's home, and he doesn't mind building a program like Miami. So he can come home, build the program, but he doesn't want to have a bunch of nonsense he has to deal with, because at Oregon, he has everything he wants. He says something, it gets done. There's nobody questioning it. There's no hierarchy. There's chaos right now at Miami. He may not have known it until the last 48 hours, but now it's clear for anybody to see, even Gary Ferman, who now agrees with me, that this was not handled well.
No, I don't disagree. It's not being handled well.
It's not being handled well.
Where I disagree.
They still might wind up with everything they want, but it was not handled well.
I'm not playing the result either, because I said it in a column in the middle of the season and took a lot of heat for that column, quite frankly. But like I said in the middle of the season, that then was not the time to pass judgment on Manny. And they ended up winning 5 of the last 6 and playing the best ball in the ACC. And I was looking out, in my mind, for the best interests of the kids, who clearly were playing hard for Manny and the coaches and didn't need to go through all that upheaval at that point in their lives. That's all that I was saying. I was certainly not saying that Miami doesn't need to pursue Mario Cristobal or try to get better in football. Of course it does. That goes without saying. I've been the biggest proponent of going after Mario for many years now. To sum it all up, Matt, Manny's not being treated.
Why are you putting that on the screen? Like you're going to freak people out.
Because I want to talk to KAA 902, and I'm certainly not disputing what you're saying, KAA. But can you please repost? I'm going to take it off the screen, but can you please repost, and we will get to you again. And I want to know what street you're talking about. I don't know that a final decision has been made. I would agree with you that there is the possibility, very alive, that he would stay in Oregon.
And by the way, I want to address K Mills has a great message. I know you go through these messages in
don't start jumping ahead on me.
No, but I got to say this. He says, you got nothing new. And you know what, K Mills? You're right. The reason we're doing this is because everyone else is saying they have something new, and we're trying to explain to you guys what is actually happening. And what's actually happening is it's stuck in mud. As of right now, it's stuck in mud. But everybody else isn't saying that. So what's new is that there is nothing new right now. I don't know if you understand the double negative of that, but that's why we're doing this show, because there's so much outside noise.
Yeah, and please stop coming on our message board. Stop coming on our shows and attacking us, please. Like, we are freaking grinding on this thing around the clock. We are keeping you guys up to date on everything going on. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. You don't have to listen to us. You don't have to believe that what we're saying is true. But can you at least show us the respect of letting us do our jobs without, nonsense like that? You're not giving us anything new. Well, we kind of are, because we're telling you exactly what's going on in some pretty damn good detail here on this show. And we've been doing that on our site, as we do every day. Anyway, please come on, guys. Let's be adults and keep this on a high level. All right. What's taking Dan so long? Good question, Matt. Seems like he's the one who's wishy-washy. I think he's interested in Miami. I think he's got a great job at Clemson. I think he's got a great life at Clemson. I think that I actually know Dan pretty well. We went to school together at the same time at Miami. We have some, a few mutual friends and things like that. And I think that, he's got a pretty good life up there. They've got a home down by the beach. Obviously they have a home near Clemson. I know his wife's very happy there. And he's been there 7 years now. It's very entrenched, obviously, in the community. They've built a couple $100 million of facilities. They have facilities as good as anything in the country. They got a great athletic program at Clemson. And he's got a good situation there. Now, why would he have been intrigued with Miami in the first place? I think that it's a new challenge. He's 63 years old now, 62, 63, somewhere in there. He has probably done everything he can do at Clemson. And coming to Miami, an athletic program with so many needs and so many ways that a new athletic director can make an impact, I would say that this presents that kind of opportunity for Dan Radakovich. And that's why he's interested in Miami. Now, makes about $1.2 million, I believe, at Clemson. I think Miami's offered him 1.5 with the capability with incentives to maybe get as high as 2. So I think the money's in a good place and all that. Very much like Mario, he just has to make a decision on whether to make this move. And I'm sure he's doing his due diligence and learning about the athletic department and things like that. And then he'll make a decision. I don't know that it's fair to call him wishy-washy. Matt, I mean, like, I think sometimes there's an insensitivity to how big these decisions are for these guys.
I don't know what the question is on
well,
that.
When you're moving your family, you're moving your life, you're taking,
Yeah, but listen, this is the life of a college football coach. I mean, there's some coaches. Yeah, that was an old one. I'm not funny anymore. Now people are annoyed.
Well, I'm still at 7:14 on the.
Yeah, I was funny back then. I'm not funny anymore.
What time is it now? 7:56.
Yeah, that was 40 minutes ago. It was hilarious. 40 minutes ago, it was hilarious.
I'm still about 40 minutes behind, but I will catch up. I'm on 7:15 now.
Yeah, listen. I mean, look. The bottom line, guys, for those of you that have to, light the final night of the candles for the menorah, which I was supposed to do at some point with my kids over the Zoom, which I guess I won't be able to do anymore.
No,
the bottom line is that coaches move all the time. It's nothing new. It's whether it's the right situation for Mario. That's just the life of a coach. That's what it is. You're not going to stay at a program forever. Like, nobody does that. Well, very few people do that. And again, personally, I still think Mario takes the job. I mean, this is his dream. This is what he's always wanted. I covered Mario when he was a coach at Miami. I don't know if you covered him when he was a player. You're not that old.
I did.
But like, yeah. I know Mario. You know Mario. We've worked with Mario. We've covered Mario. Like, he's a Miami guy. And I would be very surprised if at the end of the day, he doesn't come here. He's just got a lot of strings that are pulling him to get him to stay in Oregon. And like, I know you had the 80% chance. I had the 79% chance. I think this morning you put it back to 55% when you were hearing a bunch of stuff. But like, we've never said it's less than 50-50 that he's coming. Never once.
No.
And like, I wouldn't be overly concerned as a fan until he says he's staying. The fact that he hasn't said he's staying, that speaks volumes also, just as much as him not signing. He's just torn. And fans have to respect that, understand that this is a life decision for not just him, but his family.
Yes.
And like, somebody's asking, is there really a noon deadline tomorrow? If he's not ready at noon tomorrow, he can call up his buddies, the Moss brothers, and say, listen, I need another day. And they'll say, okay. Right. There's no deadline for Mario Cristobal at Miami because he's all they got. It's Mario or Manny Diaz. If Mario says, listen, I need to wait until January 5th, they'll say, fine. Like, you don't have another choice.
Yeah, but let's remember one thing. What's the most important thing in the world to Mario Cristobal, Matt?
Yeah, I know.
What's the most important thing in the world?
Recruiting.
Correct. Signing day is in 9 days?
Correct.
Yeah. So, like, no, Miami doesn't have 25 scholarships to fill, but if he's coming to Miami, he's going to want to hit the road recruiting this week. And, he would be dying to take this job. And,
Yeah. And by the way, keeping it real, by the way, was it 12 I told you scholarships they have open, Gary? So there's, for those that aren't like that into the whole recruiting thing, like, you have 25 a year. Everyone knows that. You have a new rule where you get 7 free transfers on top of the 25 a year if 7 leave your program. So up to 7 free ones that don't count against the 25. But the limit that's killing Miami right now is the 85. And when I broke it down, we talked about it yesterday, Gary. What was the number I gave you? Was it 15 or 12 they had open this year?
I think you were saying 12 if nobody leaves.
So they have 12. If nobody else transfers out, they only have 12 spots. They have 9 commitments under Manny, okay? But they only have 12 spots, including transfers right now, to be at 85 players next year. This is not a year that it matters if you get a million top recruits or not, because you don't have room because of the COVID rules. So, like, Mario can take his time. I've talked to every single commitment except for Marquise Williams, who refuses to speak to anybody in the media. I have no idea why. I'll check in with his coach once the coaching situation is ironed out to see what is going on with him. But other than him, every kid's told me whether Mario's coming or not, I'm sticking with Miami. I love the Miami program. There's not one kid that said, hey, I'm going to leave. Now, if there's one kid or 2 kids that might get dropped, Landon Ibieta has told me he's a little concerned about it. The other kid who's concerned about it is Valencia Carswell. But they both want to be here. Like, these kids love Miami. They didn't commit to Miami for a coach because they understand, which a lot of parents I talk to have told me this also. They're telling their kids, literally, do not pick your position coach. Do not pick your head coach. They probably won't be there the whole time you're there. Pick a place you want to live. Pick a place where you feel like you like the players on that team that are young guys that'll be with you for 3 or 4 years. Pick a place where you feel like it just feels like home. And that's what these kids have done, because, it's remarkable that these nine commitments, and, and I talked to Wesley's mom for a while the other night, like, they just want to be at Miami. And whether it's Mario or Manny, they're still coming. Like, that says a lot. And now if Mario comes in and tells a few of these kids, like, sorry, we can't take you. We only have 12 spots. I want to bring some of my Oregon guys. I understand that. I feel real bad for the kids because they stuck by Miami. They want to be here, and I feel terrible for them. I like every single one of those commitments. I would like Markeith more if he talked to me, but I like all those guys. And like, it's going to be a really interesting situation if Mario takes the job and the dead period starts Sunday at midnight, and he's got 5 or 6 days to basically figure out who he actually wants to keep out of that commitment class, who's coming with him from the Oregon class. And a couple of those kids, by the way, were former Miami commitments, including Devin Jackson, who I spoke to. I'm not calling kids saying like, hey, if Mario comes to Miami, what do you do? That's not appropriate. But I called Devin to see if Mario had set up a visit for him, and we just talked for a while because I know Devin pretty well. He's an Oregon commit who was committed to Miami for a while. Not committed to Miami, sorry. He was recruited yeah. by Miami for a while. Super nice kid. I've talked to him like a million times. So I just, I was talking to him I said, listen, this is nothing I'm going to write. And I didn't write any of it. But he said, listen, if Mario comes to Miami, he'd be very interested in coming to Miami. And there's going to be other kids in that class who I don't have a personal relationship with right now who might say the same thing. So how do you fit them all in when you have 12 spots, including transfers, and you already have a very young team? Like, it's going to be super interesting if Mario takes a job tomorrow or in the next 24 hours, what his plan's going to be, because he's got to make that plan in a hurry.
Yeah. All right. So Kerry Bush, I thought, made a great point in saying that Manny didn't hesitate to leave Temple hanging when that situation came up. And you know what? That's true. I mean, now Manny's sitting there hanging, but that's. Oh,
and by the way, somebody said Basainth came from Miami, not Mario. Basainth's mom actually said she hopes they keep Manny. Believe it or not, I swear to God, you could read our story about it. We did a big story, an inside look with her on the whole recruitment thing. But anyway, that's just answering. K Mills asked a lot of questions. That's believe it or not. And look, he's not going to switch. Obviously, if Mario comes, but he didn't commit to Miami assuming Mario's coming, just so you guys know.
Justin Johnson points out that Mario was on TV accepting the bowl bid, and he was. If you want to see that video, like I said, it is on CaneSport.com. Pistol Pete here is asking who the hell is picking Oregon over Miami for anything. Pistol, dude, they got a lot of money out there at Oregon. They got one of the better funded athletic programs in the country. They spent $225 million on their track facility. Okay. They're getting ready to put about $100 and something million into their football facility, their indoor practice facilities that are already pretty good. They're getting ready to even improve them further. They just put the best video board in college football in their stadium. It cost them $12 million for this video board. So this is a program that has a lot of money and a lot of resources, and it's not afraid to spend it. And it's unfair to say who's picking Oregon over Miami, because a lot of people that I've spoken to about all this in the recent weeks have been saying, why the heck would Mario leave Oregon to go to Miami when he's got everything that he wants out there and unlimited resources? And that's certainly the sentiment of a lot of people in coaching, and they understand.
Again, the common sense thing. If Mario wasn't wanting to leave potentially, why would he even entertain Miami? He would have said, listen, I'm just so happy here. I'm not going no matter what. 8 million, they're going to be 7 million, whatever. No, he would have already said that. That's just common sense. When Miami approached him, he could have said, I'm so happy. My family loves it here. The facilities are amazing. I have so many roots here, which he does. It's all true. He has a great situation in Oregon. I mean, amazing situation in Oregon. But he did not say to Miami, don't make me an offer because I'm not coming, And he didn't. And once the offer came in, the final offer came in, he didn't say, I'm staying in Oregon. So, again, the reason why there's been all this craziness on Twitter is because people are speculating about something that hasn't been decided yet. And you don't know what's in Mario's head. All these people who think they do for some reason, or who are leaking stuff, again, like I talked about earlier, for their own agendas, whether it be from Miami's end or Oregon's end, that are trying to play politics with this. It's big boy. It's big boy time for some of these administrators on both sides. Big money guys on both sides, I should say.
Keith Garvin is asking, what does a leak have to do with anything? It has a lot to do because, like, for example, let me reflect back when Miami was looking to hire Rick Pitino as the basketball coach. They had been working on it. They had a deal done with Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino he was with the Boston Celtics at the time, and he had to negotiate with the owner of the Celtics to get paid his buyout. He was owed money by the Celtics. He didn't want to forfeit it was a few $1 million. So he had to negotiate his exit with the Celtics. So Leonard Hamilton decides he didn't want Rick Pitino taking over his basketball program. He had his own ideas in mind, and it gets leaked to the Miami Herald at the time that Rick Pitino was going to be the head coach of Miami. It totally screwed up Rick Pitino. He had to pull out of the chase. Miami never ended up hiring Rick Pitino. And that leak totally screwed up a deal that was done. It was a done deal. Okay. These people have relationships. They have responsibilities to their families, to other people. They have protocols that they have to deal with, and they care about all these things. And if something leaks prematurely or doesn't leak the right way and all that, it can absolutely impact these searches, these pursuits, and things like that. And if somebody's putting out bad stuff on Twitter and it's not true, then yes, it can have a negative effect, no doubt about it. Okay. I'm not even gonna comment about this guy. I mean, in fact, I'm just gonna put that.
Put out some Twitter rumors about that.
Oh man, it's like you come on our forums here and start like spewing your nonsense about So this guy starts saying that we're jealous. We're jealous of a guy on Twitter who put out a false report this morning, who's not even a reporter, by the way. Who had never been heard of with anything Miami before this coaching situation came up. Okay, and I love who he works for, and I love what they do and all that. But we're not jealous of anybody. Trust me.
You're jealous of me.
Yeah, because you've got this legion of Zoom that's like.
Listen, just so you guys know, like I don't know how many you know this. Gary worked for the Miami Herald for how many years? 20 years?
No, the Herald was 8.
8, and then you were with the National.
No, altogether it was 10.
Okay, so the whole point, and I worked for the Baltimore Sun papers for a while. Like, we're not like Miami fans who started a site. Not that anybody is, but like we're not. It's yes, of course we want Miami to do well. We are a fan site, but at the same time we're objective, like reporters who have done this for a while, and like we understand we're not going to get every story and whatever.
Yeah, and we've had CaneSport now for 30 plus years, and you've worked for CaneSport for like 25 of them or something, and. Like, yeah, we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
so all I want to tell you guys is like, I don't know how you envision it, but like when we go out as a media group to Green Tree or whatever, and someone had a great story or a good scoop, like we say to them, like, hey, that was a great story. Hey, you had a great scoop. It's not like, we're pissed at them. Like, that's not how we like. We're like nice people. We're not your typical Miami people, I guess. We're not the the Twitter mongers or the ogres, under the overpass on the way to. On 395 or whatever, 195, we're just like normal, nice people. We're happy for other people to get scoops. We like it when we do, of course. And, in this case, we actually did have a scoop, which was that there was no scoop and that the other scoops were wrong, which was actually.
We've had a million scoops on this story for weeks. And then what happens is, people start swooping in at the 11th hour and start trying to take credit for a story that we've been reporting for days or weeks. Like when Mark Richt got hired. He got hired on a Wednesday. I had reported that he was the guy on Sunday, that he was the only focus of the search on Sunday. All right, so Wednesday he actually signs the contract, and somebody tweets, 30 seconds before we do, and they broke the story. Okay, like life goes on. Like we don't worry about that kind of stuff, and we don't. We don't. So please don't pollute our comments and our message boards and stuff like that with silliness like that. We are here to help you guys, the fans, enhance your experience as fans. That's what we are here for. And that's what we try to do every single day. All right, Chuck Mober wants to know when this is all going to end. I think it's all ending by tomorrow. It could even end tonight. As soon as we finish the show, we're going to get back to work and try and figure out what's happening. I don't see this going past tomorrow. Like I said earlier in the show, the plan at Miami has been to have a press conference with Mario Cristobal and Dan Radakovich together here in the next day or two. And we have not gotten any word that there is a press conference scheduled yet, but we are anticipating that. So that would be the answer. Brother Jay wants to know about Alonzo Highsmith being over football operations. I think that's going to depend on who the AD is. I don't know if Dan Radakovich is going to want somebody under him that's just looking out for football. He might see himself as being capable of that. But if he takes the time to interview Alonzo, I think he'll find that Alonzo Highsmith can be a very big asset to this athletic department. And, I hope they talk to him because he absolutely, wants to do it. All right. KGT's back again. Wants to know who my source is. KGT, number one, I have a lot of sources. Okay. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I have a lot of sources. If I said who they were, I wouldn't have a lot of sources. But I can tell you that if we're reporting it, it's probably accurate because, we don't just grab crap off of Twitter and report it. And today is an absolute living example of it when it was erroneously reported on Twitter this morning that the deal with Mario Cristobal was done, and it absolutely was not done. And Mario Cristobal spent the entire day today recruiting for Oregon and was on TV tonight accepting Oregon's bowl bid. And as of tonight, is still weighing what he wants to do in this situation. So, that's the answer to your question on that. But if Manny stays, Matt, we're out of a job. What do you think? Are we on the unemployment line? I mean, why does everybody want, this is another thing that's a bone of contention. I mean, we've been here for 30 years. We sit there every single day, morning till night. We report, we write, we talk, everything we can do to make the fans enjoy being Canes fans the best that we can make it. So why would anybody want somebody to cancel a subscription to CaneSport because Manny Diaz is staying as coach? Come on, man. You want to take that out on us? I mean, come on, Rocky. Why would you even bring that up, man? We want everybody to be on CaneSport because it's a fun place for the fans to be and to have a place to interact with each other and keep up to date on the news and things like that.
Yeah. Let me. I hate to interrupt, Gary, since you've had the floor for a little while, so I'll take a couple of minutes here. So when we went to the, there was I'll call it a convention of former players after the season that you and I attended, Gary, and some other reporters were there. And, the former players there that wanted to sort of share their ideas with Miami and be part of the program again, and be able to go to a game if they want to and be on the sidelines or go to a practice and not be banned from the athletic center, which they have been basically. So anyway, I was talking to some of the players, and you were too. And the general thing that struck me that I was surprised to hear, they weren't there to bash anybody, period. They were there to show support for the program. But what they said to me, several of them, was whoever the coach is, I'm going to support them because I'm a Miami Hurricane. And that struck me because it's not something that a lot of fans seem to have in their DNA. But the guys that gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this program, and some of them can't walk right now because of the hits they took between college and the NFL and high school, whatever, that's how they feel. And if they feel that way, who are we to say no? I'm not going to root for the coach right now. I want this coach to lose so he gets out of here. To me, I still expect Mario to be the coach, but if he's not, it's not about Gary and my job being harder or easier if we like it or you don't like it, if we're going to lose subscribers. No, it's about you guys as fans. And if former players are saying that you guys as fans should root for whoever the coach is, who are you to say that you shouldn't do that? I don't understand as a fan how you can't root for your program. And by rooting for your program, you got to root for that coach. As much as you guys, many of you do not like Manny, some of you really have serious hatred for Manny and probably need to see some therapists. I can recommend some names. You know, I don't have a therapist personally, but I do know some therapists and people that have therapists. I'm going to need a therapist probably by tomorrow at about this time. But like, that's what you should do. You know, that's how I think a fan should really behave. And you can express your discontent with the team or how the team is playing or certain play calls, but you know, to just say you hate the coach and you want the team to lose so the coach is gone, which happened a lot this year, like that's disappointing. Former players did not like that.
Peanut here says that Mannys just doing the job he's paid to do, man. Why is everyone saying it's a shit show? I fully believe he's already been let go behind the scenes. No, he has not been let go behind the scenes. And what's been going on has not been good. And the other thing we haven't brought up, Matt, is the impact of this on the staff. You know, these guys are sitting there also, and they're not able to look for jobs right now because of all this uncertainty and everything. They don't know whether they're still here or not here. And if they knew they weren't here, they could be out looking for jobs. I mean, that's a big deal for the guys that are on the staff. K-Mills, Matt, is thinking maybe Manny Diaz wants to be Mario's defensive coordinator. What do you think?
Well, let me just say something. People are a little confused about the whole situation. People don't seem to grasp this concept. So I'll make it really simple, okay? People think, because the Herald in part reported this, they think that because because Mario got basically the contract in front of him, $8 million a year, whatever it is, like that he's going to sign it. And I think the confusion comes from the fact that it's not 100% that he will sign it. Yes, like we've reported, and the Herald has subsequently said the same thing, there are terms that have been agreed to. Like, yeah, that's a good contract. I could accept that contract. I could see that from Miami. But until he signs it, like, it's not done. And he hasn't signed it for a reason. I think people are getting confused. They think it's a done deal, and people keep posting, which you'll see in a couple of hours, Gary, when you go through these tweets, these posts. Yeah. Like, they're confused. They're confused. Everyone's saying that it's a done deal. He has agreed to the contract's done. The contract is done, but it's not signed, and that's the key. The contract is
signed. It means nothing. A deal's not a deal.
The contract is done. If somebody tweets out the contract's done with Mario, it's not signed. And you know, for those of you that have had to sign contracts before, like that's pretty much what matters. Not that the contract was written and presented to you, and you thought it looked pretty good. It's like you have to sign it and date it. You know,
sign it and date it.
And you have to sign it with your name and not like your father-in-law's name, so that he's the one who is going to be in trouble if something goes south. You know,
it probably has to be notarized, a contract like this too. This is like kind of like what I've been talking about. Manny has Gary on his payroll now. Where does that come from? Like, I mean, I like Manny, but I've certainly been critical of the hire since day one. I knew I knew where this was going. I knew we were going to end up in this place. In fact, it's actually been worse than what I thought. You know, I thought we would be there in 4 years. We're here in 3. I mean, I understood that Manny had no business getting this job. I mean, I like Manny. He's a good dude, but like he put himself, he's guilty of blind ambition, and Blake James put him in a horrible position. And I've been very clear on that over and over and over and over again. And I'm sure that Manny's heard I've said that if he hasn't seen me say that. And I can assure you that he didn't like it. So, like, I don't know why I would be on his payroll. But listen, I keep it real. I'm honest. And I think it was a huge mistake, and it's been proven that it was. And now you've got an athletic director fired. You've got a head coach that's probably going to be fired if they could ever figure out what's going on here with Mario. And you know, that's the situation. So it's not about being on anybody's payroll. All right, Ohio Hurricane thinks that Miami should be looking at Lane Kiffin, that this is ridiculous. Matt, this has been a targeted, it's not, I'll call it a targeted search. It hasn't really been a search. It's been a targeted acquisition, I would say, from the beginning. Should Miami have fired Manny and been committed, if they couldn't get Mario, to go on a search that might include Lane Kiffin?
Say that question again. That was a confusing question.
Ohio Hurricanes thinks that they should have taken Lane.
I
mean, you're on record as saying that you think Manny should have been fired a long time ago.
Because then Lane would have been an option. Now he's not. Like, this is my whole point.
Well, Mario was an option.
Say it again.
He's an option. I mean, his buyout.
He just got an extension.
Yeah, but I don't think his buyout changed. And somebody was telling me today there might even be a Miami clause in there, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, from what I had heard, he was never like in serious consideration for Miami. But the truth be told, Miami never did a real search. Like it was always, we just want Mario, and they just assumed he was going to come, and like it was never really a question like who's Plan B. Plan B was Manny because, well, we know we're going to get Mario, but like that's not how the real world works sometimes. And like again, like I think Julio Frank had the best of intentions when he realized how angry Miami fans were. And he tried to do something about it, but the people he put in charge of doing something about it have really done him a disservice because it just looks like a clown show and an amateur hour, and like that they don't really know what they're doing, and the stuff that they're putting out on Twitter is like backfiring. It's just not a good look for what should be a professionally run program, because this is a business at the end of the day. And you and I have talked about that. I mean, for those that didn't see the last, whatever this is called, CaneSport right now, we do so much different stuff. CaneSport Live, Good Morning CaneSport. So I don't want to go over it too much, but like I had a source that I talked to for a while that, sort of broke down how there was a meeting after Blake James was let go with these two head guys who were doing the search, and they want to know how much money did the departments need in the various athletic departments to make everything up to the standard of top programs around the country, whether it be upgraded equipment, upgraded facilities, coaching salaries for assistants, whatever it may be. And the number came back for a 1 year span of 10 million and for a multiple year span of 100 million. They have to redo the HEC, redo the wellness center, completely basically gut the HEC, I guess, from what I was told. We haven't been allowed in there for a while, so I don't know what it looks like anymore. But, and that's not including football coaches' salaries. So that's a lot of money. But they still, even after all that, determined that with a coach like Mario, it would make up that deficit and even make money because the program hypothetically would be so successful, and he would generate so much enthusiasm among the fan base. What they just never really understood was that Mario maybe wasn't going to be all in. They just assumed he'd want to come home. It would be easy. They have these people who give them money. The money's not a problem. The money's not a problem. But they didn't anticipate, and I think they're freaking out quite frankly right now, because they thought it would be signed by now, and it's not. So listen, if you're a Miami administrator right now, if you're Julio Frank, if you're these two guys doing the search, you should be a little bit worried because, this could go two ways, not one way. And yeah, it's still more likely to go that one way you want, but it's scary that he hasn't signed yet. It's scary. He should have signed today if he was 100% on board. Yeah.
Well, this morning he wasn't. I don't know what, I haven't gotten an update in a couple hours from anybody, so I don't really know where it stands at 8:20 tonight. But I know he was torn for most of the day, and he spent the day recruiting for Oregon, and then he went on TV for Oregon to accept their bowl bid. So that's not a guy that's out.
Going on TV for Oregon, that doesn't mean anything. I mean,
No, but it was business as usual, is my point. So we'll see. All right, so Matt, Rocky McMillan's trying to make the point. In your face, Gary. LSU didn't wait. USC didn't wait. I understand that, Rocky. But here's the question I'll ask. What did firing their coaches early in the season do for their pursuit of a coach? USC didn't have a candidate until well past the end of their season, and then they pulled Lincoln Riley out of no place. LSU had been trying to hire Lincoln Riley and ended up with no candidate, and ended up then having to go and start all over again and go get Brian Kelly from Notre Dame. So firing their coaches earlier in the season had absolutely nothing to do with where they ended up in their coaching search. So
let me tell you something. Forget LSU and USC. Okay, I don't care about other programs. At Miami, you send a message when the program isn't right, and the program wasn't right. The program isn't right. They never sent the message, and now they're in this ridiculous situation. And right. I'm not happy about it, quite frankly.
I'm saying what those schools did had nothing to do with their coaching search and who they ended up.
That's what I'm saying. Forget the other.
If they fired their coach at the end of the season, it wouldn't have mattered. They would have ended up in the same place.
Depending how they ran the search afterwards. If they only targeted one guy afterwards, like Miami's doing, I'm not sure how it would have wound up.
USC, you never heard of another candidate at USC?
Yeah, no, but I understand. But I'm saying at all these different schools that are firing
Lincoln Riley.
Okay, so the correct
it's correct like Miami's targeting Mario.
Right. But the correct way to run a coaching search is you fire the coach, Then you find a new coach that fits your program best, and you take your time if you can.
But
They
what
made it so they had
us
time.
They're showing us they don't want to go on a coaching search. They want Mario or Manny. That's what they're saying.
If they want Manny, then the fans are going to go nuts.
They're going to go nuts, no doubt. But that's not what they're. But it's obvious that in the administration, they're thinking we want to keep Manny until we know if we're getting Mario. Once we know we're getting Mario, which they clearly don't know.
And that's the problem. That every fan who just heard you say that knows the problem, because you're echoing. This isn't your thoughts. This is what they're thinking, and I agree with you. This is what they're thinking, and that's what's making fans crazy. The fact that there's even a chance that Manny comes back is making fans nauseous.
I understand, but the fact of the matter is they're clearly thinking it's Mario or Manny. Because it's
what I'm saying is that
on Sunday night, Manny's still the coach. Manny hasn't been fired.
I threw a bunch of pig feet in the water today in my traps. That's what stone crabs like as their bait. And this is pig-headed thinking. This is not the way you do it at a top program. Leave your coach just sitting there who needs to be replaced. Maybe he'll coach another year because we can't get anyone good.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, come on, man.
It's horrible, but it's clear what they're thinking. So those crabs eat pig feet? Is that the idea? Like, that's how you catch them?
Isn't that weird? I always wondered about that, because it's not like pigs are endemically, unless you're in the Bahamas, they're not endemically native to the Bay, right? It's not like crabs know to eat pig's feet. They love pig's feet. Love them.
What do you do? When you're trying to catch stone crabs, you throw pig's feet into a trap?
I mean, I got a tip a couple of years ago to use, believe it or not, cat food. And you just you put a couple of small holes in the top of the cat tin. What the crabs are really attracted to is the stink. It's like the stench of the Miami program if Manny Diaz is still the coach next year. It's like that kind of stench. And the stone crabs love that stench. If Manny's the coach next year, there will be stone crabs rising out of the sea like the apocalypse and descending on the Green Tree practice field and chasing the players around the practice field. I guarantee you.
And we're going to be unemployed, so we're going to set up a stone crab shack on Dixie Highway or somewhere, right, Matt? And we'll just start selling all these stone crabs that are coming out of the bay to eat your pig feet and try to survive while we wait for a better coaching situation so that we can restart CaneSport and keep it going. Go Canes 35 is all hard. He's saying he couldn't care less, man. He just says Manny sucks. He wants him out of there.
How do you really feel, Go Canes?
Yeah, exactly. And then Showboy Kane, who I assume is a relative of yours, I'm assuming, he's saying it's about the program. No kid is bigger than the program. All right, let me ask you. Come on. I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's about the program. These are freaking kids in college, man. Can you have a little heart, Showboy? It's about the kids too. And any university would tell you it's all about the kids. It's about the education that they give those kids. It's about the development of those kids as human beings. It's about the opportunities that they create for those kids as they go forward in life. The program should live on no matter what. It's okay for it to be about the kids. And it was okay for the Miami administration, in my opinion. Matt will disagree. It was okay to me that they looked out for the betterment of the kids and didn't blow up their football program in the middle of the season. They clearly made a decision. We are going to go out and we're going to try to get a better football coach. And that's what they've done.
Listen, do you think these kids want to be part of a bad team or a bad program? Like,
no, but you don't need to blow
You're saying it's about the kids, so don't fire a bad coach.
Yeah.
Well, that makes no sense. That's an oxymoron.
They immediately went out and started trying to get a better coach. And they did it quietly behind the scenes. And they didn't have to blow up the world for those kids to do it. It's totally irrelevant. Yeah, this sucks for Manny, this whole situation. Yeah, it's disrespectful as hell. It's unprofessional. You can put any word you want on it, and you're right. It's horrible. But at the end of the day, it's not going to affect who the coach is at Miami moving forward if they can get this deal done with Mario. All right, so I'm going to try to blow through a few more of these, Matt, before we go back to work trying to figure out what's going on. Dakota here thinks that Mario is going to sign an extension with Oregon tomorrow. Certainly not out of the question. We don't know yet. I still think I still would think it's trending in Miami's direction. I really do. I mean, I'm hearing, way too much pointing in that direction. But I am not disrespecting the power of Phil Knight of Nike at Oregon and the full court press that whole Oregon community is putting on Mario, trying to keep him there as their coach. K Mills here, another one. Jesus, he wants to know who's going to buy out me. What do you think, Matt? I would love that, actually. You think John Ruiz, instead of building that stadium on the corner of Lejeune and Bird Road that's never going to be built, you think he'd buy me out? I'll take it.
I don't think that was meant as a compliment.
Yeah, well, oh, here he is again. He comes back again. Let's buy out Gary. K Mills. Yes, K Mills. I'm now the president of the K Mills fan club. That would be a wonderful thing if I got a buyout. Hopefully it would be a life-altering buyout, kind of like what Manny Diaz is going to get. $4 million to leave his job. What do you think, Matt? If somebody gave you $4 million, you would quit in 5 seconds, right? You'd say, bye-bye, Gary. Been nice working with you. I'm out of here.
Listen, I'm not about the money. I'm about the fans. I don't care about the money.
All right, K Mills is. I got to get rid of K Mills. I mean, I can't tell you. It's like, come on, man. It's like post after post after post. I mean, it was funny one time. It's not funny 10 times. So let's see here.
Poor K Mills, you blocked him. That's brutal, bro.
Yeah, he's gone. I can't deal with that guy.
You Mario Cristobal him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're coming here we're sitting here, we're trying to have a productive conversation for the benefit of the fans, and he's sitting there like disrespecting me or you or anybody. Like, forget that. We don't have time for that. I know. I just don't. I don't. It's cocaine, and cocaine's 35. You're spamming now, man. Come on, like, we get it. You don't like Manny. You don't like Manny Diaz. We certainly. We certainly get it. Lenore Murray says, I just got a voicemail from Manny to say, keep up the good work for me. Why do people think I'm defending Manny? How is that message getting across to anybody?
You said you feel bad for him,
So is that what it was? I used the terminology, I feel bad for Manny. I do feel bad for Manny. He's being treated very disrespectful.
So darn long. I did not say that Mario's not coming. I said it's constantly over 50% that Mario's coming. I don't understand why these people think he's not coming.
Yeah,
I think Mario's coming. I still think he's coming. I'm just concerned that he doesn't, because if he doesn't come, it's like Miami has no backup plan. That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I'm still somewhere between 55 and 80. Until I see
big range.
I know. Well, I've been on 80 for weeks, and then when I started hearing what was going on this morning, I was like, "Whoa!" So I had to put the pause button up. And I haven't heard that it's changed. So I can't go back to 80 just yet. As soon as we finish this show, I'm going to start making a bunch of calls, and we'll continue pursuing this as the night goes on. Coastal says there's an offer on the table. It's a little bit further along than that. There's more than an offer. I think contracts are ready to be signed. I think it's just got to be a final decision to sign them. Kane Thing 24 says it's a total failure, Matt, if they whiff on Mario. I would agree at this point. I assume you would too, that if they don't land Mario, it is a total failure.
I mean, yeah, it would be devastating at this point if they didn't get Mario, because they will have botched this so badly. It would be to the point that I think somebody in the administration should resign. Maybe, I mean, it's like, it would be almost as, it would just be, what's the word I'm looking for? Professional malfeasance. I don't know what you want to call it, but it would just be really almost incomprehensible to me to put in all that effort and put all your eggs in one basket at a program like Miami, to not get the guy from Oregon who's from here. It would be unfathomable, and it would be, honestly, because they screwed up the messaging and they screwed up these stupid tweets that they were liking and making all this crazy noise out there, thinking it would pressure Mario to come here. Mario doesn't like that stuff, and they don't understand that. And they're playing their own game, and it's not about them. It's about the fans and trying to get the right coach here to help the program. It's not about your egos or your money and saying how you can build a stadium. Like, that's great. So do it. You don't got to tell everybody about it. Tell Mario if you want to tell Mario, hey, if you come here, I'll build you a stadium. Well, what do you need to go there telling people you're going to build it? Apparently, what they leaked was, we're going to build it and shut down Coral Gables High School, and all these kids can be homeschooled, which is a great idea. Coral Gables, they've tried. Okay, they've tried to build stadiums, believe it or not, in Coral Gables. They have been denied numerous times. They can't even get enough seats in the Watsco Center that they want for the basketball team. When they built that arena, they had a set amount of extra seats they couldn't put in, but wanted to put in that they couldn't get permitted. And they still can't get that permitted just for an extra 2,000 seats. And now they think they're going to get 50,000 seats.
They're going to put a 50,000 seat stadium at the corner of Lejeune and Bird Road.
Ridiculous idea.
Who comes up with that stuff? I mean, you want to say Tropical Park? You know, John Ruiz wants to build.
Well, listen, FIU and Miami, there was a tentative. They reached out to try and get that done, where FIU and would have shared a stadium at Tropical Park, and even that fell through. There's just a lot of hoops.
They don't need to share a stadium with FIU, but
here's the problem. If you're going to build, if you're going to build a small stadium at Tropical Park just for Miami, I'll stay at Dolphin Stadium. Thank you very much. Like, I got no problem with that stadium. If you're going to drive from campus anyway, why not play at an NFL stadium?
Well, you can run shuttles up Miller Road too. I mean, theoretically,
it's closer to campus. I get that, but it's not going to be as amazing a stadium as the NFL stadium is. Like, it's a little silly to me. I get it if it's right in Coral Gables for sure, but Coral Gables is a nightmare to get stuff permitted. I have friends trying to right now just build a house, and they literally can't get it built. Like, they can't even get permits passed. It's insane in Coral Gables. You have no idea.
There's no chance of stadiums getting
Zero
built.
chance.
Stuck in Chaselandia. That's a nice name. People are looking at Mario as the savior of the program. He's going to have a hell of a lot of pressure on him, Matt. This is a great post. Good job. Mad kudos to Stuck in Chaselandia. Think about the amount of pressure that's going to be on Mario Cristobal.
We talked about earlier, remember?
If he takes this job. He's coming in here. He's going to be expected to win every game. When he doesn't win every game, he's going to walk into this freaking inferno that has become a segment of the fan base where they are just looking to light up anybody at any time. It's going to be a lot of pressure, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we talked about. And listen, that's not a reason why he's not going to come. I mean, Mario loves challenges, but you're right. This is what
he's not going to love being MF'd on Twitter all the time.
He's not going to love that. But this is the difference. This is what I was trying to talk about earlier also, the difference between Miami fans and Oregon fans. Oregon fans, they've had some good years, but they're a little bit more used to losing than Miami fans that have lived for more than 20 years, right? So it's a lot more disappointing and there's a lot more anger when Miami loses a game to a team they're not maybe from the outside supposed to lose to, like a North Carolina or a Florida State that's a down team, whatever it may be, versus an Oregon where you can lose 3 or 4 games and the fans are like, okay, we'll get him next year. Like, that's sort of how they treat it. Mario's a superhero. He's Super Mario in Oregon. In Miami, if he loses 2 games, he's going to be effing Mario. Like, do you want to be Super Mario or effing Mario? Because if he comes here, he knows there's a good chance he'll be effing Mario if he loses even 2 or 3 games a year when they're paying him this much money. And that's a scary thought. I don't think it's something he's really considering. But just having covered this team for so long, I know what's going to happen if he loses 2 or 3 games down here. Like, that's just the way it is. And it's actually a good thing because that's the standard. The standard here is winning championships. And I don't want that to change. But Mario has to be able to deal with that. And hopefully he will ignore Twitter if he loses a couple of games and just get back to business and make sure he wins the rest of them.
Fresh 3542 thinks you're sexy, Matt.
Well, that is true. Thanks, Mom.
Norman Smith wants to know why LSU and USC were able to get such great coaches without a circus. That's a great question, man. I mean, they did. USC absolutely went and got Lincoln Riley without any circus whatsoever. Handled it as well as it could possibly be handled. LSU kind of laid in the weeds. They were after Lincoln Riley. Didn't get him and immediately moved on Brian Kelly and got that deal done very quickly without any fanfare or anything. Why do you think those schools were able to do this so seamlessly and Miami wasn't? It's a great question.
Because they had an administration and athletic director that understood how to do this under the not under the table, but like quietly, like get it done and get it done quickly and make sure that person wants the job, get them what they need, have everything in place already for them and get the contract signed quickly. And and then it's done. It's not lingering for weeks. I mean, this has been insane.
All right. I think we've, I'm just trying to finish going through a lot of these posts, but I think that we've pretty much covered every angle of this, Matt. I don't think we've left any other stone unturned. So it's 8:40 on Sunday night. And from here, we will continue reporting tonight. We will continue trying to figure out what's going on and what's going to happen tomorrow. If anything develops, it will be posted on the message boards at CaneSport.com. If it's worth a story, you will see a story on the front page, and we'll pick up our coverage then again tomorrow morning. So I guess that's it. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us on CaneSport Right Now. Hope we've given you some good insight into where things stand right now in Miami's pursuit of Mario Cristobal and Dan Radakovich. And if it doesn't work out and Manny Diaz does come back, please don't take it out on us, man. We're good dudes. We'll see you next time, everybody.